Okay, welcome to the Personal Finance Spending Plans presentation lecture. Please make sure that you have the note guide that goes along with this presentation lecture as you view the slides and progress through the content so that you can take good, accurate notes that can be used as study tools for upcoming assessments. All right, so what is a spending plan? A spending plan is a grid or some type of a analysis of income and expenses. They can also be considered income and expense statements, sometimes referred to as a budget, which is an analyzation of money going in and money coming in and money going out. Obviously, our goal is to have more money coming in than going out. Now, the picture here on the right-hand side is an example of what a spending plan or budget might look like. Why is a spending plan an important part of financial planning? Well, being able to allocate your financial resources accordingly in order to establish financial freedoms is very important to many of us. So it's going to help you manage your money in a positive manner, which means it's going to be productive. It's going to help increase your net worth, the amount that you are worth based off of the amount of finances that you have in your possession. Assets, cash, bank accounts, retirement plans, all of that stuff is going to factor into your net worth. It helps you set and reach goals. We talked about that in our goal setting presentation lecture. And now we're going to take a look at the specifics that would make financial goals a reality and be able to apply that goal setting tactic that we talked about in terms of SMART goals to financial situations. And then finally, analyze the opportunity costs and trade-offs to maximize financial well-being. Again, other concepts that were talked about and you were introduced to in our previous presentation lecture on goal setting. So, money management tools. Let's take a look at some of those that are available to you. In order to use money management tools, you have to look at it as like it's a puzzle. So let's fit these puzzle pieces together. The statement of your financial position, which is going to be impacted by your income and financial statement or income and expense statement, which is also then going to impact how you construct a spending plan. So what is your financial position today? Determine what that is. How have you managed your money in the past? Compare the two. Then you should be able to come up with a spending plan or a money management plan for your future. Determine what changes to make in the first two puzzle pieces in order to make the changes in your future plan. A budget is something that is a projection, it is a prediction. It is definitely nothing that you can for sure know what you're going to spend and what's coming in terms of money, but you have to do it, you have to create a budget based off of the information that you have on hand. All right, so looking income expense statement. Let's take a look at this example here. So we've got a couple of different elements that we should go over so that you can completely understand how this income and expense statement works. If you take a look at the circle on the right hand side over here, we have a planned amount and then an actual amount. So the purpose of the spending plan is to compare what we've planned for versus what we've actually spent so that we can make adjustments for future spending plans. When it comes to developing a spending plan, let's take a look at 5 steps that can help you in that process. Step number 1, track current income and expenses. Step number 2, personalize your spending plan to yourself and your spending habits. Number 3, allocate money to each category so that you are not leaving any of them out. Step number 4, implement and control how your money is being allocated to the different categories on your spending plan. And then finally, evaluate and make adjustments as needed from month to month, year to year, etc., etc. So developing the spending plan is coming up with those 5 steps and letting them feed off of each other in order to achieve financial freedom. Maintain the spending plan, which means that you definitely want to continue to reference it as you go through your month to make sure that you are on track to meet those goals. Developing the plan would be considered the first 3 steps, and then finally the maintaining of the plan would be steps 4 and 5. All right, so let's take a look at step number 1, track current income and expenses. Why is this important? This ensures your spending plan is realistic. Do not indicate that you want to spend more than you have coming in. You're going to get yourself in trouble that way, and you're living outside of your means. The purpose of a spending plan is to force you to live within your means. Step number 2, how will you develop a spending plan? This is how you personalize it to your own personal needs. So what is the intended time period for your spending plan? More often than not, it's going to be a month or 30 days. What categories on the spending plan template are going to apply to you, thus you are going to include on your personalized spending plan. How will you develop a spending plan? So what way will it be easiest for you? If we take a look at the illustration here of what a spending plan might look like, obviously can be modified, but I would suggest using paper and pencil. Reason being is because if changes are going to be made, they can be erased and rewritten. Pen is going to make it sloppy. It can get it could get very sloppy if pen is crossed out, rewritten. You want to do this in pencil. You can also use a spreadsheet software like Google Sheets or something like that puts something like this together to help you track your expenses as well as your incomes. A money management computer software, there are some out there. Some of them might even be free, or even an app that you can load onto your smartphone. And applications, of course, is the last possibility. So there are a number of different ways for you to be able to construct this spending plan and monitor it electronically or paper and pencil. What would you use? All right, so what is the attendant time period for your spending plan? Usually it's concurrent with a pay period or combination of pay periods. What time pay period would you choose for your spending plan? I can tell you for me, mine is normally by month, but sometimes I might change that depending upon whether or not I have an extra paycheck coming in this month or I have unintended expenses that I wasn't expecting. What categories will your spending plan include? Reference tracking as income and expense statements. So which of those are going to apply to you, which ones do not? Omit the ones that are not going to apply to you and then allocate funds to the ones that will. Do any categories needed to be added, changed, or even removed? Maybe there are categories on there that you need to add that are not on that template. Remember, that template is just a guide. You can personalize it, manipulate it for your particular needs. Let's move on to step number 3, which is allocating money to each category. Reference tracking from step 1. So we take a look at our current income and our expenses and then allocate those monies accordingly. Determine what changes to make. So where is that money going to go? How much money is going to go into each category to make sure all of our money is allocated accordingly. When allocating money, you want to consider trade-offs and opportunity cost, as mentioned in our goal setting presentation lecture and notes. The goals that come off of those, as well as contractual expenses. So a contractual expense, this is required to pay an expense for a specific amount of time, not easy to reduce or eliminate. This is a fixed expense. Non-contractual are easy to reduce or eliminate and might be considered variable expenses. Fixed expenses might be rent, internet, cell phone. Non-contractual or variable expenses might be food and entertainment. Now, moving on, let's take a look at this pie chart. So a spending plan guide might be that you're going to take a percentage of your money and allocate it to certain categories. Maybe 10% to saving and investing, 7% to insurance, 30% to housing, 20% transportation, 15% food, 18% other. Obviously, those numbers and percentages can be changed and manipulated and updated. What variables may cause these percentages to be different? Different aspects of your life, different types of income. There's a whole mess of different factors that could happen throughout life that's going to impact your spending guide. Net gain or net loss. If our income is greater than our expenses, we have a net gain. If our expenses are greater than our income, we have a net loss. So add more money to savings or other expenses. Net loss means we have to increase income, decrease expenses, or a combination of both. Step number 4, being able to implement and control. Make your planned spending decisions as well as use a control system to make sure that you stay on track. If adjustments need to be made, then do so. If behavioral adjustments need to be made, then do that as well. Now, some different control systems that can be used: money management computer software, internet-based spending plan program. Mostly, some of them are free. You might have to pay for some others depending upon your needs. Depository institution programs. Control system would be your banking system, your online banking system and or app. Check register system, which is your checkbook and your recording of transactions as you spend money as well as receive money. And even an envelope system. Most often than not, as we evolve in our technological needs and our technological uh, processes that we use in order to go through daily life, we are probably going to move more towards an automated system. But maybe not. Everybody is different. Sometimes a paper and pencil works just fine for others as well. Which control system would help you stick to your spending plan? Amongst the ones that are listed here, there are also others. All right, step number 5, which is evaluating and making adjustments. Is your spending plan helping you reach your goals? Oops, advanced too fast. Is it helping you reach your goals? Is your spending plan helping you reach your goals, or is it not? Actually, that's in there twice. I noticed that I got a mistake in there. And then finally, do you need to make any adjustments? So if you are not reaching your goals, make adjustments. If it's not working for you, then it needs to be updated so that you can meet those goals. Otherwise, it is unnecessary effort being put forth. All right, so let's take a look. Congratulations, you have been hired as a financial advisor for John and Tia Brown. Let's see how well we can help them with their financial needs. Our task is to develop a statement of financial position and income expense statement. Identified the following goals. Here are their goals. They're looking to increase the amount of their emergency savings fund as well as pay more on their monthly car loan and pay off their loan faster. Spend less money dining out at restaurants, spend less money on clothing every month. We have to now, with that being said, and with that background information given to us, develop their spending plan for the Brown family. This is an activity that we will be doing in class over the next day or so. I will be handing out a hard copy of their financial plan, and you will fill it out and get them on track to meet their financial goals. Keeping in mind that as the financial advisor, you have kept all the receipts for the month of January to create an income and expense statement. Then, with that information at hand, you are to review John and Tia's January income and expense statement for a realistic view of their income and expenses. All of this will be handed out to you so that you have it and you are able to complete their spending plan. This is an example of what you're going to get, and then you can go ahead and work through the scenario in order to get the Browns to be able to meet their financial goals. Waiting for the slide to advance here. Step number 3, allocate money to each category. So help them out so that they know what they need to allocate towards each category to meet their financial needs. And then step number 3, allocate money to each category based off of the planned amount for the next upcoming month. Again, keeping in mind what their financial goals are so that they can meet them. Step number 4 is to implement and control. That is your job. Recommend a control system for John and Tia so that they can monitor their financials. And then evaluate and make adjustments. If needed, because of unforeseen circumstances in terms of expenses and income, adjustments may need to be made. Therefore, your job is to help increase that so that they can stay on track to meet those financial goals. All right. So we'll stop there. The summary of the spending plan is an important financial tool. Maybe it helps achieve goals. You're going to put that into play for the Browns. Steps 1 through 5, and you'll get a chance to apply those. So that concludes the presentation lecture on creating a spending plan. You'll get a chance to practice this with the Brown scenario. Make sure that you have completed your notes and answered all the embedded questions, and I will see you next time we meet in class.